welcome to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I'm actually going to start today's video by recommending that you try the puzzles in the last two videos that I've done on the channel, because these have been getting exactly the responses that I hoped that they might. So this was yesterday's puzzle, Grand Line by Adam Jaziri, a 7x7 puzzle with a twist. You've been loving that, and I'm not surprised. It's absolutely brilliant. And then the day before's puzzle was Tight Spaces by Analytical Ninja, and this was a puzzle that actually brought tears to my eyes. You just must have a go at this puzzle. It's really not that hard. Honestly, it's really not. And it will give you a tremendous amount of pleasure. And speaking of tremendous amounts of pleasure, we're going to be trying a puzzle today that we've had several demands that we cover on the channel. I think this is a new puzzle as well. It's by Niverio. And we've had 3 or 4 emails very well in the last day or so, basically saying, you simply must showcase this. Well, your wishes are our command. This is exactly what we're going to try and do. I hope I'll be able to do it. This, I think, is going to be more difficult than the puzzles from the last 2 days. I looked on Logic Masters Germany. It's got 4 stars out of 5 for difficulty, and it's called Lace Agate, which is one of those titles that fills me with, well, it makes me feel ignorant, because I guess this is something to do with the crystalline structure of agate, which I know is a stone. But I don't know how these lines relate to that, I'm afraid. So I will rely on the comments to enlighten me as to what is going on. But this is basically a region sum line puzzle, so some of you will be familiar with the rules. I will read you those rules in a moment or two. Now, what can I tell you about first? I'm going to start with a shout out to Raumplaner, who messaged me on Discord today with this, which is apparently he's created this in our software. I do not know how he's managed to do this, but he said that it looked like an album cover to him, and it does a bit. And he was recommended I produced some tunes for said album. Well, I'd love to have the time to produce an album of tunes for you, Raumplaner, but I very much agree with the sentiments, and it's got loads of little coloured squares in it. It's very cleverly done. Well done. Next, we're going to birthdays. Now, I have figured out today, when I came to my list of birthdays, that Gemini is a star sign, obviously, that is, it's got a lot of Sudoku fans who are born under the star sign of Gemini. So, happy birthday. We'll start with Katie. And that's because your mum Jill wrote to us, Katie. And I understand, Katie, that you're travelling down to London today from York to commence 2 weeks of celebrating. Now that's a proper birthday party. Wow. There's going to be chocolate cake, seafood and fizz, I am assured. And Jill told us that last year she was very ill and that Katie was there to help with her recovery. And she loves you loads, basically, and thanks you also for the Cracking the Cryptic introduction. So, Katie, we thank you for that Cracking the Cryptic introduction too. And I hope you have a brilliant day. It sounds like you're going to have a brilliant 2 weeks. Next, Rose. Rose, you've turned 17 today. And I know this because your brother Jonas wrote to us. And Jonas did mention that poor Rose is having to spend her special birthday at Jonas's graduation, for which he apologises. I'm not sure if he's apologising with a smile on his face, though, Rose. He might be. And there's not going to be chocolate cake for you because you don't like it, but there might be cheesecake. Well, Rose, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great birthday, obviously. Next, we move over to France, where it's Kirsty's birthday. And I know this because your fiancé, Jonathan, who is actually in Michigan, and who has a birthday on the 11th of June, so another Gemini. Good work to Kirsty and Jonathan, but they are celebrating Kirsty's birthday with a week or so in Disney World. Good grief. I tell you what, I mean, I've been celebrating birthdays all wrong. It's quite clear. Next, Naomi, you've turned 28 today, and your best friend Sophie wrote to us to tell us that you'd appreciate a shout out, and apparently the two of you spent Naomi's entire 25th birthday watching Cracking the Cryptic videos, which I guess was during COVID. But Naomi, you now watch the videos on the bus home. Well, that's fine. At least we can go out nowadays. That's better. Next, Tony, it's your birthday, and I know this because your fiancée Caitlin wrote to us, and I understand that in 5 days' time, the two of you are getting married on June the 10th, so there's going to be a Gemini wedding. And Tony, you've been sharing our kids' Sudoku hunts from Patreon with Caitlin's nephews. I fully approve of that. And speaking of nephews, I can tell you that Uncle Eric has been introducing his nephews, Sawyer and Wyatt, who turned 10 today, I believe, to Sudoku, when he visited them in Bozeman, Montana. I hope I'm saying Bozeman correctly. And, well done, Uncle Eric, for doing that. And Uncle Eric is also very good, because he also requested that I give a shout out to Sawyer and Wyatt's younger sister, Evangeline, who's 6 years old at the moment. So, Evangeline, I hope you'll soon be following in your brother's footsteps and solving variant Sudoku puzzles. And then finally, I'm going to say a happy birthday to Martin, who's turned 26 today, over there in Sweden. And Martin was kind enough to send us a poem in the form, which contains a bit of a riddle, actually. The riddle is not uncrackable. Little old me has cracked it. If you crack it, drop us a comment in the video and tell us what the answer is. I will read you the poem. A hidden message within this poem appears. Wise men right on clock and some musketeers. First in line it's hard to hide. Changes nothing when multiplied. 2 straight lines he draws. Does he need a foe? Actually no, we're not playing tic-tac-toe. Dividing the secret with the box, one certain number it unlocks. And solving this riddle will crown you king. It's time to convert. Oh, you rotten thing. Very good, Martin. I enjoyed that. And I hope you have a great birthday today. Now, we've done Raumplaner's concept album cover. The only other thing I want to mention is, of course, what we've got going on over on Patreon, which is the Planets Suite Sudoku Hunt. Many of you have been enjoying it. I have been loving the facts, and I'm going to continue trying to read out a good fact every day. But frankly, I'm still wading my way through unthanks facts, all of which amuse me greatly. So I'm going to share with you unthanks fact about planet Earth today. And the fact is that in the last 620 million years, Earth's day has lengthened by over 2 hours. I mean, that's incredible. And scientists believe it is these extra 2 hours that have caused more Sudoku puzzles to be solved in the 21st century alone than were ever solved in the Ediacaran period, which I am told by Unthank lasted for 96 million years. There you have it. I'm sure that's the only reason that more Sudoku puzzles have been solved recently. But Unthank, thank you for that. Thank you, Unthank. Now we'll have a look at Niverio's puzzle. I will get my fingers on the keyboard ready, and these are the rules to Lace Agate. They are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Blue lines in the grid are region sum lines. For each blue line, digits on the line have an equal sum n within each 3x3 box the line passes through. Multiple entries to a 3x3 box sum separately. So there is an example here. I will try and use the example. So row 3, column 3, which is this cell, is equal to row 2, column 4 plus row 3, column 4. Yeah, okay, so it's normal region sum lines, and that's equal to row 4, column 4 plus row 5, column 4. Right, so I'll just do some highlighting, and let's talk about this blue line and see how it works. So you can see that this line makes one appearance only in this 3x3 box, box 1, this cell. So whatever this line's sort of sum is, you must put it in this cell because it's the only cell in box 1. And these two cells then, which are the two appearances of the line in box 2, have to sum up to that same value that we put in this one. And these two have to sum up to whatever those two sum up to, and whatever this one sums up to. Well, that one doesn't need summing. Let's try... Should we do this complicated one as well and try and understand how that might work? So obviously those two cells are the only appearance. And this reminds me of those Mensa tests, this one. You know, they pop up on your Twitter feed. They sort of say, if you pour water into the top which tube gets filled the fastest, and the only way to solve it is basically to have superb eyesight, where you can see that there are sort of some of the tubes are sealed off. It's not a complicated puzzle, and it claims to distinguish whether or not you can get into Mensa or not, but I don't think it does. Anyway, those two digits, right, so then they must sum to the same as those two digits, and then we leave that box, look, and we go into box 9, so let's do those two digits. We go back in here, let's make those two green, and then we have this sort of sticky out pipey bit here, which goes there. I mean, it goes back into box 9. So so I suppose the point that we can pick up from this, from the Mensa mocking line, is that what you don't do is lump this one together with these two. This is a separate entry into box 9. So that has to have. So let's say this was a 6. These two would add up to 6. These two would add up to 6. These two would add up to 6, and those two would add up to 6. And that's how the rules work. There, I've said it. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. I'm definitely not starting with this. That seemed very complicated. So I'm going to start. It looks like I can do something here, doesn't it? We could do parity for these 3 cells. So I know these 3 cells. I know that. Well, I'm going to get to share the secret. I haven't done that for a few days. I'm not sure whether it's worth anything, but I can tell you that those cells are odd. And the reason I know these are odd is because of the secret. That's why, and I'm going to tell you what it is, because you're still with me after 12 minutes of birthdays, etc., and eulogising about Geminis. You certainly deserve to hear the secret. The secret is that any complete column, any complete row, and any complete box of a Sudoku contains the digits 1 to 9 once each. Therefore, you can work out the sum of the complete column, complete row, or complete box. It's 45, because that's the triangular number for 9. It's what you get if you add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 together. So, this column sums to 45, which is odd. Now, those 6 cells must sum to an even number, because whatever those 3 digits are is the same sum as those 3 digits. So this sums to, let's say yellow is equal to x. Those 6 cells sum to 2x, so they add up to an even number. So to make the whole column add up to an odd number, these 3 digits must add up to an odd number. And that means that those 6 digits add up to an even number. And that is interesting, actually. This is even, isn't it? And that's because, let me divide this one up as well. Let's do it like that. So obviously these 3 dominoes have to add up to the same number. But if these were 2 odd, if each of these individually added up to an odd number, then those 6 cells together would add up to an odd number, because it's 3 times an odd number, and that's always going to be odd. Whereas if each of these dominoes adds up to an even number, 3 times an even number is always even, and we know these need to be even, so we know this is even. Well, it's not 2. I can guarantee that. It is not 2, because I can't put double 1 into all of these dominoes. That would be quite bad and quite comical. I will put that in, because some constructor out there will now construct a puzzle in which there are 6 ones in box 7, arranged like that, logically deducible. But, alright, this isn't 4 either, is it? Because if it's 4, each one of these has to be a 1-3 pair. That's the only way of doing that, so that's not going to work. Actually, it's not. It's 8. It's 8. Because the point here is that there have to be 3 different ways of making the total that we put into this cell. And there are only 2 different ways of making different Sudoku digits add up to 6, because you can only use 2 4 and 1 5. So if we put 2 4 there and 1 5 there, we'd have no way of filling orange, and that would be terrible. So that's got to be an 8. And we know what those 3 digits are now, because they're the digits that don't go on dominoes that add up to 8, which are 1 7, 2 6, and 3 5. So it's 8, 9 and 4 go into these squares. So that's a 4, 8, 9 triple. Now we can work out what x was in column 1. Because we can use the secret, can't we? We've got 21. So 45 minus 21 is 24. And therefore x is 12. Each one of these has to add up to 12. One of them has a 7 on it. And the 7 can't go with a 1-4 pair to make 12. So it's going to have to go with a 2-3 pair. So one of these is 7-2-3, and the other one is 1-5-6. And we have actually got off to a little bit of a start here. 7-2-3, 1-5-6. I don't... see, if I pencil mark that in, I will then forget. You see, if I pencil mark that as 7-2-3 and it turned out to be the wrong way round, I'd probably forget. And I'm... I don't know. I think I'm just going to try and remember that these can be apportioned up. Now, no. Okay, I was about to say I know what this is, but I don't. I know it's not orange, because it's got to add up to 8, this domino. But if it was the orange pair, so imagine that was 2-6, and this was, we tried to make this 2-6, that would make 3 instances of 2-6 in the bottom row, which will necessarily mean that one of those digits is repeated, which will necessarily mean that we've got the puzzle wrong. So we're not going to make this orange, we're going to say it's either green or blue. I probably shouldn't have used blue, should I? Maybe I should change blue. I could use purple. Yeah, that's better. That's more visible to me, at least. So... right, 8 is on one of the line cells in this box up here. That's deeply suspicious, isn't it? Hang on, let me think about this. There's a lot that flows either way round here. Sorry, I realise I've just stopped talking. It's because I can see that there's quite a few things that, you know, if we put 8 on the top domino, this square has to be a 9, because it would have to be 8, 1. And this would have to be 9, because it can't be a double-digit number. And that would do all sorts of things, because then this couldn't have the 1 on it, which would mean this was 1, 5, 6. And this was 2, 3, 7. But if on the other hand this is 8, then we've got all sorts of stuff going on in this column, haven't we? Because we've got all these colours of 8 appearing in this column. I don't know if we could actually distinguish which way round the colours go. One of these would have to then be orange, and the other would be whatever this isn't. And the other thing that's interesting about that version of events is that 8 gets put, so you get another domino. You get another domino in this column that adds up to 8, and that would have to be purple. Oh, wow. Oh, that's absolutely beautiful. Right. That doesn't work. Ah, that's... oh, that is very, very sharp. I like that. That's beautiful. Wow. Okay. Hang on. How do I show this? How do I show this? Yeah, this is complicated. It's complicated, but it's absolutely beautiful. Right. So the question is, where do we put 8 in box 1? If this is 8, I think the point that Niverio is trying to draw our attention to is that now these squares are these squares in some way. These are all oranges, purples and greens. So this column now has a whole load of digits that are oranges, purples and greens. And the critical question we then need to ask is, in this column, where's the 8 going? And believe it or not, the answer to that is we do not know quite. We know it's not here by Sudoku. So there's either an 8 there or an 8 there. Let's grey those two squares. These are the two possible positions for 8s. And that means we can colour using our patented green, purple, orange lines. We have to colour either this domino or this domino. Well, which colour should we choose to do that with? Let's say this is the 8. What colour is this? Well, it's not green and it's not orange, so it's got to be purple. But the critical thing is that if we'd made this the 8, that still has to be purple because it's the same logic. But now look what happens. By Sudoku, a purple, or the two purple digits, get thrown into red. How could that ever be true? What would the other digit be in red? Well, if two of them add up to 8, one of them has to be a 4. The other one has to be a 4 to get to 12, which we know these add up to. And they can't be, because there's a 4 down there. And it would be exactly the same if purple was up here. Purple would then just get thrown into yellow. We'd have two digits that add up to 8, and we'd have to have a 4. That's so beautiful. It's unusual and very, very clever. And now, not of me, I hasten to add, entirely of the constructor. So now 8 is up here, which means this is 1/8, because this has got to be not a single digit number. Now this can't be, it was 156, wasn't it? So 156 is the yellow. This is going to be 237. Pregnant pause while I try and work out what that means. Oh, come on, Simon. I'm sure we can work something out from this. Come on, what is it? I don't know. Sorry, I'm not spotting whatever the next step is. Oh, that's embarrassing. Come on, what is it for? I can see 9 is restricted in this column. 9 could be here, but I think it can also be here. It can't be here because this would be a double-digit number, and it obviously can't be on a domino or part of a domino that adds up to 8. What I suppose by Sudoku we could say one of those is a 1. So either this is a 1-7 pair, or this is a 1 and this is a 7. There's definitely a 1 in one of those, but we don't know. I don't think we know which. We know green is not 1-7. Right. So how do we do this then? I don't know. I don't know is the short answer. We could... Oh dear, oh dear. Do we know what that is? Is that somehow restricted? It is a bit restricted actually, because I don't think it can be, it can't be really low, can it? Because, okay, let's actually think about this through. That could be 9. definitely. It probably is 9. It could be 6. It could be 5. It can't. I can see it can't be 4 straight away, because if it was 4, both of these dominoes would have to be a 1-3 pair. So it needs to have at least 2 ways of making its total. Now, I'm just wondering though, if this was a 5, this would be a 1, 2. Yeah, it can't be a 5, because this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Because it would be a 1, 4 and a 2, 3 pair in some order. And we couldn't make this domino add up to 8, because there must be a 1, 2 or a 3 in an 8 domino. It's either 1, 7, 2, 6 or 3, 5. So we can take 5 out of there. Now, can we take 6 out? Don't. Actually, yes, we can. Yes, of course we can, because although we pick up the ability with 6 dominoes to put 3 down here, the 5 is removed, so it still doesn't work. Ah, that's gorgeous. Right, okay, that's more gorgeousness. So that's 9. Now we've got maths on this column, surely. Because now, well, I've got 27's worth of digits here, because this adds up to 9, this adds up to 9, that's a third 9, so that's 27, that's 8, 35. These two squares add up to 10. I'm just going to highlight those for a moment so we remember that. Those add up to 10. Don't know what to do with that. We know what those digits are, though. Let's just take stock and see if we can. Oh, broke. No, I haven't broken it. I thought I'd broken it. Oh, okay. Okay, so 5 and 6, look, have to be down in those 3 squares. Now we can't. 5 plus 6 does not equal 8. There is a knowledge bomb for you. So that square's got to be a 5 or a 6, which means this square is not a 1. Ah, this is good. So purple is 1, 7. We just proved it. This square's a 2 or a 3. These squares are, well, they're the opposite of this, aren't they? So they're either 2, 3, 5 or 6, but it depends. Okay. So now, well, I think I've got to think about 8 in this column, don't I? 8 can't be on a domino that adds up to 8. I think we proved this couldn't be an 8 before, because we thought about it in the context of yellow and red, and it can't be, because this would be a, well, you can see it can't be. It would have to actually be a purple domino that would put a 1 here. For many reasons, this is not 8. If you put 8 here, it breaks Sudoku rules. So there is a 1-8 pair. Okay, there's a 1-8 pair on this domino. And that's gorgeous, actually. That's what we were looking for. Because now I know what this is, because it's not purple, because purple is a 1-7 pair, so that's green, which is 2, 3, 5 or 6. Now I wonder, oh, I know what we should do. Hang on, this domino adds up to 10, and it's not 2, 8 now or 1, 9, so it's either 3, 7, which would have to be very expressly a 7 here and a 3 here. If we put the 3 here, this has to be a 1-2 pair, and again, for many reasons, that's not going to work. So it's 3, 7 or 4, 6. Again, you can't put 4 here, because this would be 1, 3, and it would still break. So that's 7 or 6, that's 3 or 4. And this domino, if this is 6, this is a 2, 4 pair. Well, that's one thing, let's put that in. If that's a 7, this is a 3, 4 pair. So this has always got 4 on it. That doesn't help us, I don't believe it. Okay, alright. Okay, so where does 7 go in this column? I've suddenly realised I can place that. So this column hasn't got 2, 3 and 9 in it. 2, 3 and 9. And the 9 is definitely in box 4. 9 is, oh, 9 is over here. Can we put 9 on here? Okay. This is a completely different kettle of fish, actually, isn't it? This sort of fish hook line, because we're saying those 2 digits add up to 4 different digits. The maximum sum of those squares is 15 now, and that's assuming we don't have an 8 here. So if that was 8, 7, we'd have 15, and that just allows you to have the 9 on the line with 9, 1, 2, 3. Okay. I wonder whether there are versions of 8 down here that eliminate things from this domino. So if this was 2, 6, this would be 7, 3. 2, 6, 7, 3. This would have to be 1, 8 and 5, 4. What about if this is 3, 5 then? If this is 3, 5, this becomes 4, 6. 3, 5, 4, 6. They sort of pair off, don't they? So then you can put 2 and 7 up there. Ah! Okay, yeah, so you never put 3, 6 up here. Yes. All right, there is one thing that is troubling in these dominoes. 3, 6 is troubling because that puts 4, 7 into those squares, and 4 and 7 don't add up to 10, so the world breaks. Yeah, the challenge here is how are we going to get out? We've done absolutely wondrous work in columns 1, 2, 3 and 4. Using this absolutely gorgeous logic that Niverio's infused into his puzzle. And now it looks like we're going to have to do something else. I'm not sure exactly. Oh, no. I suddenly thought maybe I could not put 9 in any useful places in this box because of this tube coming out of it. We know that we can't put 9 in a domino because this tube cell here would be higher than 9. It would be the sum of 2 different digits including a 9, which is not going to work. But 9 actually, look, it can live in any of those 3 cells. Sorry folks, I'm stuck. Let's try. I really don't know where to look. I have a feeling I know at least which one of these is 1, 8. I mean, if that's 1, 8, is that putting undue pressure on this? 1, 8 forces that to be a maximum of 6, 7, which is 13. You'd then have to have a 1 on the fish hook because 2, 3, 4 and 5 add up to 14. Doesn't look. I would place a 1 here, an 8 here, an 8 here. Would do work, but I don't think it doesn't seem tricky. This thing is just complicated. Maybe that means I meant to look at it. Let's refresh then. We've basically used up our yellow and red colours, haven't we? So let's use those over here now. So yellow and red, and this is another thing, but it could be the same as yellow and red. That's obviously another. I don't know how we do that. Let's make that light green. This one. Oh, no, hang on, I've missed something here. I've I've just spotted something. This one sees those two. Oh, what the heck is that? That's some sort of insect. I was in the garage yesterday and there was a hornet flew in, and I kid you not, it was completely terrifying. I hope it's not one of those. I'm pretty sure it isn't, because the hornet was huge. I made a lot of noise. Anyway, yeah, sorry. What I was... I got distracted. Okay, so imagine that we put 5 in here. Now, 5 has 2 ways of making it in dominoes. 1, 4 and 2, 3. And we could put those into those squares. But then what would this be? It couldn't be 1, 4 or 2, 2, 3, because it would be seen by both pairs. So this needs to be some digit that has at least 3 different ways of making its total. So it's got to be 7, 8 or 9. Now, oh God, I know that thing is still in here. Oh, I've now spotted it. It's a bee. There's some sort of hover. Oh, it's flown out. That's good. Okay. Well, all right, that's lovely. It's not 7. It's not 7 because there's a 7 here. If you make that 7, where'd you put 7 in this box? That's gorgeous, isn't it? And the answer is nowhere, because if that's 7, you've got to put 7 in one of those squares by Sudoku, where you'd have to accompany it with a 0, and that's just not going to work. So this is 8 or 9 now. So it's probably, right, it's probably 8, and we're going to have the job of relating these colours back to these colours. Right, now how would we do that? That colour is not an 8 colour. So if this was an 8, this is not green or purple. This has to be orange. That thing's back again. I can hear it. This would be orange. I'm just going to put that in just for a moment. If that's orange, what does that mean to the world? Then those 2 cells would be orange. And that doesn't work. No. I'm just sort of checking. I'm just checking I agree with my brain. My brain shouted at me that that doesn't work, and I think my brain is right. Well done, brain. Yeah, okay. So here is the question. Is this an 8? Bearing in mind that would force this to be orange, because it couldn't be green and it couldn't be purple. And the challenge is, why doesn't that work? I don't think it does. And the reason, well done, for those of you who managed to do it, congratulations. The reason is nothing to do with orange. The reason is to do with green. Because if these are orange, how many green cells are in those 6 cells? Well, the answer to that is both of them. Both greens, whatever the combination is, let's say it's 2, 6. The 2 and the 6 have to be down there. But that means there are 3 cells over here and 2 cells over here that all have to be selected from the digits 2 and 6. Well, that's not going to work, because in this row there's a 2 and there's a 6, and in this row there's a 2 and there are 6. So altogether there are 4 green cells in these 2 rows. There are not 5, which there would be if this was orange. So that's why I don't think that works. Right, so now we can go and make this a 9, and that's not what I was expecting, but it's very welcome. So now 9, that thing is very annoying. Now 9 is here by Sudoku. Well, my phone's buzzing at me, it's all going off. That thing is, it's right by my ear. Go away. Right, what's that done? So, okay, so now these colours are totally independent. And we've got to figure out what that means. That's not 9. That's one thing it means. There's a 9 here. Oh, hang on. That's not 9. Maybe that's the point. Oh, yeah, this is gorgeous. Now we're away. Now we are away. Yeah, because the only way, yes, we've sort of reached equilibrium, because the only way that you can put a 9 on this fish hook, if you accompanied it with the lowest you possibly could, which would be 1, 2 and 3, it would add up to 15, and there's no way to make that domino add up to more than 15. So this has to be a 7-8 pair. That takes 1-8 off this thing and puts it in here. Which I'm sure that does something, but I can't see what it is. Now this little string of digits now is 1, 2, 3 and 9, and we know that the 9 is up there. I'm going to actually put that in the corner so I remember it. Right, that's not 7 anymore. So I've now got a 1, 2, 3 triple in... Yes, so I've got a 7, 8, 9 triple and a 1, 2, 3 triple in row 3, which means I must be left with 4s, 5s and 6s. Oh, that's going to do something there, probably. Ah, now, I also worked out earlier that this couldn't be a 3-6 pair because it broke the ability of this domino to add up to 10. So this one is a 4-5 pair. And that means that one is not 5-3. So green has become 2-6, which is marvellous, which means this is 3-5, and apparently I know the order. So 3-5, 2 here. This now is adding up to 7, so that must be a 7, that must be a 3. That's a 3, that's a 4 by Sudoku. 3 is up here. Which makes me want to ask about 6 in this box. Actually, I'm going to ask about 6 in the box, am I? Well, 6 is very interesting in this box. Never talk to me at parties. No, just don't do it. 6 is very interesting in this box because now I can't put 6 here because it would need a 3 and the 3's up there in order to add to 9, and 6 isn't there because it would have to be accompanied with a 0 or a negative number. So 6 is in one of 3 places, which is nearly good. Okay, what about these squares? They are 1, 2, 3 and 6 as well. I'm getting a bit pencil marky here, which is not my preferred approach. Oh, I've got it. Right, look at this domino. Right, there are 4 different ways of making dominoes that add up to 9 in Sudoku. 1, 8, 2, 7, well it's not 2, 7 because this square can't be 2 or 7. 3, 6, it's not 3 or 6, so it is 4 or 5. That's extraordinary. It does absolutely nothing. It doesn't do anything. It puts 5 in one of those squares. Oh, sorry. I thought that was bound to be useful. I'm just nonplussed by that. I was sure that was going to do something. Okay. Oh, what do we do now then? We could... I don't know. Okay, in this 1, 2, 3 triple, the 1, look, is on the right hand side of it, so we can take 1 out of those squares. No, that's not done it, has it? Do I have to think about this arrow? Maybe. I'm not sure though. I mean, the problem is I'm looking across here as I'm saying that, trying to get a handle on what's difficult. I don't think that much is difficult, to be honest. Maybe I've got to... Okay, can I prove then? Oh, 7 now. It's still not quite good enough, but 7 obviously can't go on this line here. So 7 is either on an arrow or in a coloured domino where it would have to have a 2 with it, or it's exactly there, which would plonk the 6 back up here, which would be of potential interest. Yeah, I've got to think about this actually, because I'm now realising as well that 8 is a bit troubling here, isn't it? In this box. I mean, 8 could well be in these squares. In fact, if it was in these squares, it would be here, and there would be a 1 down here. But 8 can't go there either. So 8's either in these dominoes. So 8 and 7 can absolutely be in here. No, they can't both be in there. Because if they're both in there, they suck up the 1 and the 2 from the box. And then the minimum sum of these two squares would be a 3-4 pair, and that won't work. So there is... So either 1 and 8 are, well, either 8 is in one of those squares or 7 is in one of those squares. And we also know that these squares definitely include 6 and they definitely include 9. And there's only 3 squares. So once I add a 7 or an 8 into those 3 squares, you cannot put 3 into those squares as well, because there is a 7 or an 8 in these squares. So that means, that seems to mean that that has to be a 3, which means this now can't be a 6. So this is either a 1 or a 2, and it's going to be the counterpart, whichever is 8 and 7, is not on this line. That's really interesting. So now there is a 4-5 in one of these squares. So there's a 4. Oh, this is quite good. Because I've worked out one of these is 4-5 now. This 4 means there's a 4 here, which means that's a 4 and that's a 5. It means there's a 5 in one of these, of course. So there's a 5 exactly here now, and a 1-6 pair, which might not do anything. Oh, 8 is not allowed to be there. Look, does that help me with anything? So this is a 6 or a 7. These don't include 7. So these are from 6, 8 and 9 for sure. So where does the 1 go in this row? Well, it doesn't seem to be able to be there. And it can't be there because this is a 1-8 pair. So the 1 must go here. This must be 8. Which now means there is a... that's good. So now there is an 8 up here where there was also a 9. So this is now an 8-9 pair. And that means this square is the only place that 6 can go in this box. And that means that this square is a 6. Which... oh, I was about to say it doesn't do anything, but it did do something. It got this cell a little bit restricted. Now these squares have got to be 2, 7 and 9. Which I wish I knew what that meant. Oh, look, I've got a 4-5 pair in row 3, so that becomes a 6. So 6 is all of us. Oh no, I was about to say 6s are being useful. They're not really being that useful. Oh, 6 in this box, though, is in a domino. So that gets us the 6 in box number 2. I mean, this is outrageous of Niverio as well, to make me do so much Sudoku in his Sudoku puzzle at this point. Sometimes you're the windshield, and sometimes you're the bug. And when I do Sudoku, I often feel like I'm the bug. Oh, look, there's a 6 here. Right, so I get a 6 and a 1 here. Okay. So 1, right, 1 cannot be here because that would put an 8 underneath it. We've proved the 8 has to go up there. So that's 1, that's 4, that's 4, that's 5, that's 4, that's 5. So 5 is nearly useful, but not quite. And have we now know, I suppose, we've got to put 2, 7. No, we've got to put 2, 7 on one of these dominoes. Which I would like to know which way round they go, but I can't see how we do that. The other thought is, one of these is 4, 5, one of these is 2, 7. Let's actually just put that in. What's this? Because now this has to either be 1, 8 or 4, 5. Now, which one of those is looking more likely, would you say? I don't know. I think... I do know. Look, I've got a 7 here and a 1 here. So this is not 1, 8. Okay, that's great. This is 4, 5, so that's an 8. And that means we've got, okay, this places the 5 apparently in this box. We've got 2, 3 and 6. Oh, the 6 in this row is now forced. It's got to go here. 6, 2, 2, 6. This is 3 and something. 3 and 2. Oh, no, I've made a mistake. Haven't I? I've made a mistake. I don't know what I've done there. I can't seem to put... This 2 is putting a 2 here. Oh, this doesn't feel right at all. Let's go back. Why did I think that wasn't 3, 6? Two, 4. Oh, why have I got 4, 5 in here? 4, 5's just been ruled out. What am I doing? I've been distracted by that creature that flew into my room. Okay, well this is good though. This is good because it is still good. It's great. In fact, that's 7. That's 1. This 1 knocks the 1, 8 out of here. We get a 3, 6 pair. That tells me this is 2. This is 6. This is 6. This is 2. And now the 2 is down here, which is a much more pleasant place for it to be. In fact, the 2 is in the corner. Because these can't be 2, because that's a 1, 2, 3, 9 quadruple. So the 2 is forced into the corner. And that's better. Right, now has that actually done the puzzle? Maybe. 4, 5, 8. Yeah, this is a naked single. That's got to be an 8. So that's a 4 and that's a 5. Now we've got an 8, 9 pair down here. We can think about that. It's back again. I can hear it. It's back again. I'm being plagued. 1, 3, 4 and 9. Right, 4 is not on this line. So this is probably a line we want to look at. I'm just going to try and do other things first. 5, 7 and 8. That's 5 or 8. This one is 7 or 8. That one is 5, 7 or 8, isn't it? 7, 8. Oh no. I think you'll be able to hear it on the microphone. Right, this is 5. Okay, we can get rid of 5 from there, which means we get rid of 4 from these. Go away. It's a disaster. Okay, so what could we say here? Surely there has to be a 9 on this arrow. If there wasn't, it would be a 1, 3 pair. Yeah, that doesn't work. Because if this is a 1, 3 pair, it adds up to 4. So this would have to be a 1, 3 pair. Which would mean that there would be a 3 here, a 3 here, and a 3 there. And that is 3 3s in the bottom 2 rows. And that's too many 3s. So there is a 9 on here. There is no 9 on there. And now we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple in this column, which means that this is a 7. This is a 9. This is a 2. Oh, okay. I've got an 8 here. I see more Sudoku. More bug splatting by me. Now, what does that mean? Don't quite know, but we can presumably think about what these have to add up to now. One of these is a 9, so it either adds up to 10, which would be incredibly restricted. 9, 2, 8. No, that's lovely, in fact. It doesn't add up to 10, because it can't be 1, 9, 2, 8, 3, 7, or 4, 6 in this box. So it is adding up to 12, and it doesn't use 9. So it's either 5, 7, which looks like it's going to have to be like that. Oh, Poppins, 4, 8 looks like it goes either way. I'm not sure I know which way round that goes. But I do know, therefore, this is 3, 9. So that gets me a 1 at the top of the grid. A 1 and an 8 go in at the top of the grid as well. This 8, no, takes an 8 out of the corner. I've not been looking for 3s in corners. I still have a chance. There is still a chance here. It's a full-on hope. It's the only chance remaining. Right, look, I've got 2, 3, 9 triple there. So that's a 7. That's made it slightly more likely than it was before. This is 8. This is 5. This is 7. No, that didn't do it. I thought that might do it. This being 5. Ah, so this is 4, 8 at the end of all this. And the digits we've not put in this box are 1 and 7, which we can now put in. So 7, 1, 1, 4, 4, 8, 8, 9, 9, 3. Lovely. Okay, good. And now this 4 is good, isn't it? Because that means this is the 4, 5 pair. So this is the 2, 7 pair, which we can do. Which means that... What's that doing to the world? It's getting rid of 2s from there. That means this square's naked now. So that's 3, that's 9, that's 3, that's 6. That's 8, that's 9. This column hasn't got a 5 in it. Oh, that's a 6, isn't it, by the logic we were doing earlier. So that's a 2 and that's a 1. And that's a 2 and that's... We've yes! Yes! I'm going to do it last digit. And that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. What a beautiful puzzle that is. I'm so sorry, Niverio, that I got distracted by the fly. But, you know, if you'd seen that fly, you'd have been distracted as well. It was sort of David Cronenberg-esque, frankly. But the logic here in this stuff was absolutely beautiful. Oh, yeah, no, it's there, wasn't it? It was working out where 8 went. The fact that this couldn't be 8 was just sensational. And then I loved that digit, actually. Because this strange pipe structure, you could actually do it. I didn't love then being splatted by the Sudoku and writing 4, 5 in as an option there. But that was all the fly. That was nothing to do with me. There, I've said it. Thank you very much for watching. An absolutely stellar puzzle from the great man. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially where they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.